Hey YouTube, I'm Jason Ward from MakingStarWars.net, and today we're going to be talking about the Ahsoka series, some videos that came out. We'll be sifting through those videos. They're a couple minutes long, and we'll just like break them down, sort of frame by frame in a way. And
Emotionally, right? Just tear them
emotionally,
apart.
yeah, that's Rob.
Go right for the right for the heart, right? Just
right for what
reach in there.
matters, right into
Reach
the
in there and
emotion.
pull a Num Shabbat, right? Just,
Just pull out its heart. Just pull it right out. Yeah, and some marketing stuff from the Ahsoka series is hit like over the weekend. One of the clips is actually like semi-narrated by Anakin Skywalker, which confirms the flashbacky stuff that will be going on through the show. Honestly made me question, is it a straight up like when she sees like the visions and stuff, is this all connected to the same kind of stuff, or is this different? Is this world between worlds, or is this just or
is it like the time they used that Duel of the Fates in the Rise of the Skywalker trailers and they never used it in the movie?
Absolutely not, because that other one was the John Williams piece of music, and they were just using it in the marketing, where I believe. And this version is literally new lines by Hayden Christensen.
Still mad about that.
So
one thing I was looking forward to in that movie was some Duel of Fates, and they didn't even do that, Jason.
Yeah, you want to know why, Rob? Because it doesn't hold up to the visually to the oral experience of that song. When I've seen enough people now, go in like, well, the marketing people are going to do whatever the fuck they're going to do. They have no control over that. Whether they should or not, they'll just fucking do it. But when it comes to like the Kenobi visuals. Oh, and by the way, I don't usually buy into like, ooh, that was a dig or that was a jab. And so in this new one of the new, I think it's the IGN video, Dave Filoni's talking, and he's like, the lightsaber duels in this have to be good. Our fans know the difference. And for the record,
from what?
For the record, when I honestly, I don't think that's a dig at Deborah Chow. I think that's a dig at the corporation not allowing them to do what they need to do in order to deliver that on past shows. And this one, they're like, we have to, because Dave Filoni's not going to go in and fucking take a swipe at Deborah Chow. That would be ridiculous. He wouldn't do that. That would be unprofessional. She was a lot of the times in productions that he's a part of, like facilitating. That would just be insane. That would be as crazy.
Well, I might swipe right, Jason. You know what I'm saying?
Dave, I know Dave just swipes right on everything, and then whatever says yes, he's like, okay. No, I'm kidding.
He's just having a little fun. He's super excited.
Not the real Dave Filoni. He wouldn't do that.
He spent $300 on turtle skins on Street Fighter 6 over the weekend.
Hey, I would have. If I had the money, I would have. And speaking of money, you can support the show on Patreon. You can support the show by being a channel member, or you can just give a super chat, and we'll make sure to discuss your topic and hit your comment. And that's appreciated, because I'm starting a new program at school on the 28th. So I need your fucking money, man. Pay me. No, I'm kidding. Well, I'm not kidding,
Sam,
but you don't have
I want to address this. I like Sam. Sam says, fans also turn a blind eye to New Hope's epic duel. I hear you, but I still say that is better than any of the sword fights that are in Kenobi. Sorry to say.
Yeah, I don't know.
It means more.
Yeah. Well, the final duel in Kenobi is fine, but you have such a shit turd in your mouth after the first one that you don't even take the second one seriously. Like round one was so bad, you're like, I don't care about round two. And like when you watch round two, you're like, round two is serviceable, but round one is fucking piles of sand or dirt. It's like, what? Yeah. It's like it's like just a construction site, Yeah. Thank you, Skywalker is a Patreon supporter at 11:38. Thanks, I appreciate that. I really
look at that.
One little grateful tear right here down my little cheek. Thank you.
Yeah, kept it on kayfabe.
Now, if he's lying, what a jerk, right? I'm kidding.
Then he pulled a Kurtz.
Oh yeah, it's on inflation. Well, it's 11:38 in 1952. But no. Anyways,
Americans, you know, like, all right, Kurt.
What was gonna say was yeah. So, anyways, he's clearly not saying that, but I think he probably had to make the case like we need to like get this part right, and I will say from the marketing stuff so far, it doesn't look wrong. It doesn't look bad. Like with Kenobi, for instance, everything would be like they're holding a sword or like this, like a ooh, what's that mean? Ooh, is that the fight? Ooh, Whereas this one, they're actually showing some of the choreography, which makes me believe.
I like this voice. We need more of that voice. Yeah. Ooh, Eminem. Ooh.
Yeah,
We turned on a lightsaber. You're like,
yeah. I mean, that is the collective voice that they think they have when they do these trailers. Like the reaction that they, when someone thinks they're getting a reaction, maybe they're not. That's
someone
kind
had
of
said it's up early. I don't want to scroll for it, but someone had mentioned that the marketing for the series was weird. And I would say I just think the marketing on Disney Plus as a whole, not just on Star Wars, is weird. Like, in one hand, it plays with some of the banality of a TV spot you'd see on like Lifetime, but it's trying to also cater that to the hardcore, like
yeah,
enthusiasts, which is like this ain't what they're looking for. Like, I don't. It's just is confusing, I
yeah.
almost wish they'd get it's not movie guy, but it was, TV cable guy where you go,
Bruce Deal.
this week on Disney Plus. You know what I mean? I wish they'd add that in front of it, 8:30, Star Wars Ahsoka. You know what I mean? George of
Yeah,
Ahsoka and Adventures, but like you may as well just go that route. So you like over this
yeah.
weird pretentious TV show marketing,
Yeah, yeah. I'm not a fan of the Disney's general marketing. Like I said, Disney's always going for the general catch. And
Yeah, I know.
they, and I find it funny in a way that a corporation of that size with that amount of money that is spent on said promotions, that they don't have the ability to kind of diversify
Well, you
how
know
the
what I
marketing
think they should
works.
do?
But
I think they should. Well, I'll just let George because he had pitched it.
okay, George.
Yeah. Sorry. I was just I suggested to Bob. We went out to Panda Express the other day. I said, when they go into the park, you should just make them watch all the trailers for Ahsoka before they go in. You just have to
Oh,
sit there, or you can play them in line, right? Or
yeah.
you brand them with a QR code on the
With like
way
an
out. So
actual
you just
brand, an
yeah.
actual
Oh
like
yeah. We got the one from Jedi with the little feet on the droids. You just burn them right in. People
I
love it when you burn a droid. Yeah,
I, I'm
it's,
pretty sure Dave
yeah.
Filoni puts a brand new ILM employee into a GIMP
Oh,
costume and calls him
oh
Brandy
yeah.
and
Well,
makes Brandy do it.
he says they know the difference.
Yeah.
It's totally yeah. All right.
Yeah.
Well, that's it.
Hmm. All right, later,
All right.
George. So I actually think that there
Yeah.
may be sort of a callback to one of George's wacky ideas that I like. Like I liked in Attack of the Clones when he created the Jedi Starfighter and was like, okay, so these are in the shapes of the Star Destroyers because they're made by the same like company, but then like
Mhm.
hyperspace isn't really there yet, so they have to like use this hyperspace ring, right? So what we think is
Right.
happening. So here is a little presentation, and this is thanks to my conversation this morning with Star Wars Santa and Meg and Baymax. We were kind of like going over what stuff means, and I've been of the opinion that the hyperspace ring that goes around the ship in Attack of the Clones likely is going to play into Ahsoka's ship. And when you look at the paint, like how it is, it looks like they are probably of the same manufacturer and era. I would just if I had to guess, like they both have that
Mhm.
red and white look. That one has they both end up bringing in the Falcon cockpit kind of design. Eventually, the Starfighter. This is the Attack of the Clones version. The Revenge of the Sith version brings in more of a Falcon like front end, and the paint
With the
matches.
tantive mid body with
And
the
then it's like, and then
original the
yeah,
original Falcon mid body when I get
and
it.
yeah,
Right.
and then you have like they're like Jedi based stuff. We have Hyung, who is the lightsaber smith, who's also a part of the ship and with them. So we have these context clues that this ship is likely old and likely might have hyperspace issues, or at least maybe for like this is fake. So they could just say, oh, it can't go as far, or in order to make the deep space hyperspace jump to this one location, it needs the ring. And so what we have here from the trailers and the spots and everything that we have right now is we see a shot of the Phantom chasing this engine. Then we see this engine on a half ring that's not complete. And if you look beyond on the bottom left-hand picture here, you can see pieces of the ring are not assembled and they are floating out in the periphery.
You're
in
gonna
the
give
center.
Santa of Chubby say the ring isn't complete. Stop,
Right.
He's mentioning rings
Oh,
here, Jason. All right.
Santa today, he was on fire. He was like, ho, 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 everything is what I say, or you're wrong. And I was just like, I don't know, man. I think that's a hyperspace ring. And then right here, we could see Ahsoka's ship actually going to the ring right here in this shot. On the bottom right and upper right, we can see like the fade into it. And you can see like a bit up close, but you could also see that she's clearly like going to it. So so what we have here appears to be a shipyard, and in the shipyard there's an engine, and then this engine is, or motor power system, hyperspace, hyperdrive, whatever you want to call it, it's there. And then what we seem to have are we at first theorized maybe it was Morgan Elsbeth's like shipyard, maybe it's where she's making the stuff for Thrawn,
the fight.
but
The fight
Meg and Sandra pointed this out to me. Right here, you can see Ahsoka jumping through the window to go fight the Inquisitors down there. Well, in the previous shot where we have Hera's butt, so none of you looked at the window because you're all looking at Hera's butt. But if you look past Hera's butt,
I looked at the droid that's looking in the mirror that can see Hera's butt. Right?
Yeah.
See the left, there's a mirror, and you can see. So he's being clever.
So when you look at it, it does appear to be the same room with the same like red trim, the same style of window. That may even be the window that she jumps out in front there.
Same shipyard.
Because when you see the background, like the left-hand corner, the left-hand side of the horizon, you can see it appears to be the same. And so it is, I'm going to say 100% a match. Yeah. And I think Star Wars Santa was the one who pointed this out. Right. Exactly. And then so what this is depicting then is most likely the Thrawn / Morgan Elsbeth's mercenaries attack a Republic ship, break Homegirl out, the magistrate, Morgan Elsbeth, out after she's been captured by Ahsoka, not killed, because obviously she's alive in the series. So they break her out, and then Ahsoka must follow some breadcrumbs from some bit of information that happens along that trail to this shipyard, where they all, right here you could see Hera and Ahsoka are there together. They're meeting some like Republic people, a General Madine guy and a droid. I think they might be Lego figures or some shit now, I'm not sure. But then Ahsoka then flips out, takes out her lightsabers. Maybe she's having some Clone Wars flashbacks, I don't know, maybe there's battle droids in them trees in her mind, or
PTSW.
she saw something. Yeah, or she saw something. Post-traumatic Clone Wars.
Yeah.
PTCW. Yeah. And then she like jumps out the window, and then we have another shot of Hera actually like chasing the engine down. So my guess is, well, it kind of goes both ways. It's like the engine appears to be part of Ahsoka's hyperspace ring. So does that mean the bad guys are just trying to stop her from getting it, so that way she can't make the jump? Which maybe she could just get another ship.
Get another ship.
Yeah, that's the thing I don't like about that. But really quickly,
or is it just one shot they never explain, which is what I think it is. I think it's just one shot where something happens.
The ring might assemble itself back together and like fold into the ship or something fucking bizarre. But we can look at this ring two different ways. The ring is put together on the right hand side. It's put together in, you know what I mean, and then it's not put together on the left hand side. And the engine's in it.
The frame is cropped though. It doesn't.
No, it's definitely not put. It's definitely not put together. You can see the rest of the ring in front of it, in front of the planet right there, and then it is put together. So either the ring is together and then broken, or the ring is broken and then put together. So which is it? And Ahsoka clearly is after it. Hera's after it, and the bad guys are there. So is this maybe something rare that allows you to get like where they're trying to go to? Like, is this like a rare thing to find in the galaxy, and they find out that, and they're both after that same thing? I mean, that's completely possible. There's a lot we don't
find the one ring.
Well, I'm not going to say the ring isn't the thing; it's the engine, that motor itself. That might be this story's equivalent of the J-type 327 Nubian that the Queen needs to get back to Naboo. You know, this might be that equivalent to this story. Yeah, and so I'm kind of that's where my mind is at on this right now. That this is likely. And I think Santa does agree with me on this one. Like, it's a MacGuffin. You know, it's probably the MacGuffin of the earlier part of the show. So I'm guessing all is normal. The world is normal. Mercenaries attack, spring the magistrate. That's when the girls are called back into business by Hera. Then they go and they follow the breadcrumbs, and then it ends up going after this engine, and they realize this engine is they end up going through that star chart thing. They know where they have to go now, and then shit's gonna go down. How do we get there? How do we get past this? We see that shot of them flying with the hyperspace whales out in the middle of nowhere. Maybe that's just not something you can do without this tech, whatever this is. That's just a theory. It may be incorrect. But right now, this is like what we have from context clues. And the last context clue is this Correllia? And so at first I was when Santa and Meg were doing it, because Santa and Meg, they'll make a connection. They're like, that's fucking it, you guys. It's Correllia. And I always have to cross my arms and be like, you're not convince me. Convince me.
The problem though, Jason, and this is just me being a little what do you call it? What do you call it when you hyper fixate on something?
Right? I don't know, just being a Rob.
Petty, maybe. How about that? Okay. I'm just being Rob. I'm gonna be a little Rob here. I think that covers it all. Is that MacGuffins are generally things that like the characters only know its importance. You know what I mean? Like it's kind of like an immense power. I don't know, man. Its significance is often not the point. You know?
Oh,
like in a way,
classically not.
In a way, Thrawn would be a MacGuffin if he never appeared in the series.
Yeah,
really. You know what I mean? Like we could see him, but then they, are some weird shit like that. Like it's just when it's like they're looking for a thing, then to me, it's
does that
like,
change after Raiders? Is that when like MacGuffins become more like Pulp Fiction uses a MacGuffin and it's irrelevant. You don't even know what it is. That doesn't matter.
That's a true MacGuffin.
Yeah, it's a true MacGuffin, right? Like there. Correct. And then after but then like Star Wars, R2 and 3PO, the plans are the MacGuffin.
The Ark of the Covenant isn't the MacGuffin. Everyone knows everybody on planet Earth knows the true significance of the Ark of the Covenant. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. It's like, well, I didn't until I saw Raiders. In that movie, they haven't seen it yet, so they're like. But no. But anyways, what I want to show
doesn't know.
is unlike where I am a complete asshole to Meg and Santa about this stuff usually. This one they may have more of a point, because look at the water. There's water with the coastline, and look at the coastline. See the building right there in the very front, how it kind of folds down. That does too there. That the structure on the coast on the water is really fucking similar. And so I'm always of the opinion with Star Wars, until they say it isn't, because sometimes there's just only so many good ideas that are able to translate and have a Star Wars feel. Sometimes they step on their own toes.
Yeah, we're beyond the planet with one biome in Star Wars now. That was something that started. After the prequels, we're out of that. There's no more one biome planets. Let's get out of that. Same with one shipyard planets. Mm-hmm. Like just because you saw a shipyard, I imagine, I don't know, Jason, if you go look at Long Beach and then you go to like, downtown LA, right? Or the coastline in LA, or then you go into like San Francisco, or you go out to Washington, right? Or Seattle, kind of all those shipyards look the same, because they're all servicing the same basic function.
My father, for instance, worked at an oil refinery when he used to work, right?
Right.
They took photos of my father's work, and you'll see it in Star Trek. The J.J. Abrams one, it's there. Like they used it just like superimposed part of his work like on that, and like, you know what I mean? Like they actually like use that stuff. And I know for Solo, the port in Long Beach was an inspiration, and I found that hilarious because when you drive out there, the big like crane things in the water remind me of AT-ATs. They always, since I was a kid, that's what I always thought. So like when you see them in that in Solo, a Star Wars story, you're like, yes, I like that they.
Yeah,
did
I'm
that.
more of a fan of when
But-
you take a real life thing and it inspires something new, like that they create inspiring an AT-AT versus
Yeah.
seeing a real life thing going, that would just add spaceships. Now it's a port. Like, yeah, that's a port too.
That's what Star
You know
Trek
what I
did.
mean? Like,
That's what Star Trek did. Yeah,
port.
100%.
Hey, look, I hear you. Look,
Yeah.
one of the lesser interesting designs of that film, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, but
I love the lens flares. Not a fan of the spaceport. Spaceport should have been in space.
I will say like Dave Filoni is usually somebody who likes to play with the things, with the toys that were created by the past Star Wars IPs. He is that kind of fan. So would Dave Filoni use Coronet from Correllia in his show? 100% he would. And also Filoni usually strikes me as somebody who was like, oh, if I'm taking like a port and adding refinery stuff, looking to it and putting it on water, well, that's the same thing as there. He usually would do something pretty different. And so I'm, like I said, of the opinion, inconclusive until they say it is, because Jakku and fucking Tatooine. That's all you need to know. Jakku and Tatooine. And anything is fucking possible in this stuff. When it came to Mando, it took me a couple of watches of the first season to be able to tell what the difference between their Tatooine and the other planet was. I thought just raining on Tatooine the first time I saw some of that shit, you know? And I saw that shit in person, and I was just like, and they were filming Tatooine and that set, and in person, I couldn't tell that it was two different sets. Like, it was so similar. So that's happened before. So anyways, point being, I think the water with the refinery and that coastline looking exactly the same, the structure on the coast, I think there's a good chance it is Corellia.
I'm going to be honest though.
Yeah,
I'm a little less nerdy than you three. Like,
oh, you're cool. Oh, you're cool. You're the cool guy.
When it comes to Star Wars, I'm a little
you're the
less
cool
nerdy.
guy.
I didn't get Corellia from any of the Ahsoka shots. I didn't look at it and see Corellia, and I'm actually,
yeah. But
despite what
look
people
at,
think,
look at the shot of
fan.
Corellia in the background here. Do you see it now?
I hear it, but I still no. So
you don't see it. You don't think.
I tend to think. I'm just telling you. I may be wrong. I just don't. I see two different ports, but there's something more busy about the one on Ahsoka, and this one is more Imperial Industrial.
Yeah,
you know, like, I don't know how to, like, something more.
Well, it
closer
is
to what you'd see in
two
East
different.
Berlin.
It is like, yeah, it is. And the other thing to note that you just reminded me of is Solo, a Star Wars story, is during Imperial occupation. We see walkers in the distance. This is the New Republic occupation where people are eating ice cream looking like assholes. So, you know, so once again, that's why I'm not convinced. But if it does go that way, I won't be surprised. And then it's also another situation where if it doesn't go that way, why didn't you just make it Corellia at that point? Is what you kind of end up walking away with, you know?
So I wanted to call this planet Footlong Beach, Jason. I just had a whole idea with it. We was gonna go with it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They won't let me put it on the box though, so you know, nothing I can do about that.
Yeah. I mean, when you get your movie, you'll be able to get your way, I think. I believe in Filoni.
I'm getting two movies. I'm getting two movies.
So I don't think you've seen this one, Rob. This one I think
Jeff
you
Snyder's
will.
not going to be happy.
All right.
So no two movies.
So this is a TV spot. Is it? Can you see it on the screen, Rob?
I can see the picture.
All right, cool. All right, I'm gonna play it right now. It's a 45-second spot. I'll probably stop it at one point.
Hold on, before you start. I just love how that rock on the right mirrors
looks like
the
Ahsoka.
shape of her helmet. Yeah,
yeah. I know. I keep thinking they're gonna like pull like the tarp off, and it's gonna be Ahsoka like being like, "What's up, dog?" You know?
He's like, "Dad," you know?
Yeah. Remember when fans were fighting that, saying that those projector things for the map were tools for the production that were left on the set? I was like, what? All right.
Everyone in the Order knew Anakin Skywalker. Few would live to see what he became.
By the end of the Clone Wars, I walked away from him and the Jedi.
In this war, you will face more than just droids. As your master, it's my responsibility to prepare you. I won't always be there and look out for you.
Well, not Rise.
So that's
Rise. They put Rise in the trailer. Oh no.
yeah, but
Oh, no, I'm worried, Jason. I'm worried, Jason.
but no, but we're no, don't worry about that. They're gonna do that because the people at Disney don't know any better. The people don't. But
Rise.
You're listen to Anakin. Listen to Anakin, not the word Rise.
Okay.
As your master, it's my responsibility to prepare you.
So he's saying, as your master, it's my responsibility to prepare you, which talks about droids. So this is Anakin during the Clone Wars when Ahsoka is still under his tutelage, and she must be probably 14, 15
you didn't
years
say
old.
it. You gotta go, as your master, as mine master to confront you. Like he has that Coruscant.
Right.
No one speaks like Hayden Christensen.
Well, it's a fucking Canadian trying to sound like an American. That's why. We
Is
doesn't
that
pass our smell. Yeah, that's what it is. He's a fucking Canadian dude. He's not a real
Anakin Skywalker's an American.
Yes. No.
I feel like
No,
every time I
actually,
say that, an eagle caw should screech behind me.
I'm gonna tell you something right now, man. I hope you're fucking listening. That's why Jake Lloyd is the only Anakin Skywalker I follow, because he's the only red-blooded goddamn American that's Anakin Skywalker in this fucking series, man. Hallelujah.
You sound like Leonardo DiCaprio.
Fuck yeah,
I could use the help.
Once a rebel, always.
And then we got once a rebel, always a rebel. Not a good line. Not a good line, guys. Not gonna sugarcoat it. But
remember when people made fun of I Rebel? Well,
It's a rebel.
You can get work.
Don't be afraid.
So Anakin tells her, don't be afraid. So it does look like we have the maybe that training location from Kenobi, maybe that's where it takes place, because
Don't trust your instincts.
And then right there you can see the space whales. And
the space whales.
See right there, Anakin's telling her, trust your instinct. She's flying with the hyperspace whales in this like fucking fog and shit like that. But she's not on the hyperspace ring anymore, for what it's worth, or if she ever was, but they don't have it there.
I know you can do this, Ahsoka.
So, yeah. So it's cool. I mean, it could be worse. It could be worse.
As Beavis about
all right, I guess.
Gotta do the job.
She got dicks for head, or whatever.
I'm gonna get a passy.
She got boobs. She got boobs, but she got dick for heads. Okay, cool.
Dick for heads. Now, dick for heads.
dick for heads.
It's stupid. Yeah. I watched the first 2 seasons of the new Beavis and Butthead, and they get stuck on a roof, and I can watch.
Oh yeah,
here's the ladder. I know we complain about Star Wars not doing enough, but I can watch Beavis and Butthead stuck on a roof for 12 episodes. Like, that's the power of writing.
Yeah, it definitely. I enjoyed it. The comeback version of it, where they're like watching TikTok and shit. I think it's pretty funny. Yeah. All right, so there's like another one that's like 7 minutes, but I think that one will just get DMCA'd eventually.
7 minutes.
Yeah.
Always two there are. No more, no less.
So this one just like kind of.
Sith, though. Why would he show Yoda and Luke?
So you don't think that's what Meg said, and to her I said, Meg, how is it not true of the Jedi? There's always two, a master and an apprentice.
I'm just trying to make this work, Rob. Leave me alone. I'm an editor.
Yeah. No. I mean it, but I mean that is the theme of the Phantom Menace itself, is that kind of thing. The only difference is the bad guys are on the ropes in that one at first, anyways, when we start, and then they flip the fucking script in that one. But yeah, like they don't, a Jedi can't have two apprentices.
A master and an apprentice.
What? That's Darth Vader, though. Wait, are you telling me that guy's Darth Vader? Fuck, dude. Fuck.
That's it. Luke can only train one student at a time at that school, and then when they're grown up, then he can train a new one.
Yeah. C-3PO had to fucking shut down because it was just too emotional for him right here. In this
no. He got DMCA'd by YouTube.
Oh shit. That makes sense. Who's here? Is Santa here?
Jason, we talked about rings. We talked about rings, and look who showed up.
Oh,
Oh,
man,
boy.
you did it.
Well, you know, I understand Jason's a very busy man. He's working really hard, or hardly working. I've heard both. But anyway, no, Jason does a great
working.
job. But earlier, when we were talking about that hyperdrive ring being incomplete,
Yeah.
you're wrong.
Okay.
So
Okay, I'm wrong.
If you watch that ring as it's transitioning, it backs away from the ring, and you can see it actually keeps going.
Oh.
So during the transition, at that point, again, Rob was right. It's cropped, but as it
hold on,
as
Santa.
it-
Hold on, I'll let you finish. Hold on.
Yeah.
Jason was wrong.
Well, we'll never see those guys again. So, anyways, back to the show. All right. I'll let him back on. I'll come up with another reason later.
Now, there could be other incomplete rings out there. There's definitely some debris out beyond. Whether that's damaged parts of this ring that have been jettisoned off, or it's another partial ring, or who knows.
Yeah.
But the ring that they're approaching is complete, and you can see as it backs away that you can see it.
You can't see the top.
up.
Okay.
That's what I thought.
Yep. So it's unclear what that debris represents, but it's
Santa knows his rings, Jason.
You notice how Rob had that thing ready to go? That was kind of weird when you think about it.
It is.
What? That Rob was wrong? What?
He was like, yeah, ready to go. He was like, no, but
yeah. Well,
right.
I'm often wrong. I just let everyone know when I'm right. That's the problem.
I couldn't let that fallacy stand. So I got to get back to coding. But you know,
That's such a
just had to come
Filoni
in.
line. I couldn't let that fallacy stand. Will appear in a Star Wars series. I assure you.
Yeah.
When
All
I
right.
can correct Jason, you know,
We're gonna call you Commander
obligated.
Coding. Commander Coding is your new name.
Okay.
Commander Coding.
Hey,
Bye,
great
Commander
show.
Coding.
I'm enjoying it. Keep it up. I'll be listening.
All right, man. See you later,
bye.
dude.
You know what he
All
needs,
right.
Jason? When he goes away, that green screen behind him needs to go to
Yeah.
like light speed, and then he hits the button out. Like,
All right, here we
he
go.
needs that.
All right.
Star Wars always has these great master apprentice relationships.
Hopefully you don't say. He's like, this is so great. It's always just a master and a sub. We call them Padawan.
Who gonna teach you?
A master and a
Jason, who
sub.
gonna teach you? Oh, I know. Who gonna teach you about the special menu at In and Out? You know what I'm saying? Some guy walk you in there, tell you all the tips and tricks and everything. You don't learn that on your own. No.
That's fair.
I like being a sub.
Remember, a Jedi can feel the Force flowing through him.
It's very much the idea of apprenticeship, the need for those two groups to come together in order to pass down the knowledge and to help save the world. In the case of Star Wars.
When I left you, I was but a learner. Now,
John getting that 70s voice.
Oh yeah,
You know what I mean? He's getting that cool 70s director's voice.
Well, he's thought about going down to the picket line like 5 times. He's feeling really like it's 1969 for him, you know? Thought about it. Considered it.
I like it. I like this new Fat voice. I like it. It's almost William Friedkin meets Carl Reiner. You know, like, I like it. Like
when like Star Wars fans do their like head canon though of things and like bring up like this still how we brought it up earlier. The thing I think to remember is number one, people have done like revised versions of it that are pretty well done. I don't like it that much.
No, I don't like any of it. I like the original.
I mean, but the thing about it is this is about buying time. That's all he's doing. In the moment, the story needs Obi-Wan to buy time so the kids can get to the Millennium Falcon and fly away.
Yeah,
and
it's the difference between this and a lot of the prequel fights, not all of them, but a lot of them, is there's an emotional point to this. His point is, and then Obi-Wan didn't plan for it, but he sees Luke looking and he takes the hit. You know what I mean? Just to seal the deal. Like there's story happening. It's not just look at the swirly whirlies, you know, like.
But I mean, but did you see it though? Did you look at the swirly whirly? That's pretty cool, right?
Huh? Jason,
was
you always
pretty
got to check. You got to check back at it just to see, you know, if you got cancer. Right?
All right.
All of that wisdom gets passed down over those generations. We have
Carrie Beck's looking pretty cute.
Qui-Gon
Carrie
Jinn,
Beck?
who's the master of open.
She's been the
Did she take
producer
over
on the.
Rejuan's role?
No, she's been the producer. She's been Dave Filoni's producer since the start. She's like on all of his projects. Yeah.
Obi-Wan, who's the master of Anakin Skywalker, and
Yeah. What you know that story I told you where like Filoni was super drunk at Comic-Con? She's the one that was like, Dave, get your shit together. Dave, get your shit together.
I like her. She's there. She's there keeping you on the straight and narrow. I appreciate it.
And there's no shade about that. Dave just.
You think he just calls her
Rebels?
back and then puts on the back CDs and to annoy her? You know, like
He's like, I'm a loser, baby, and stop doing that.
Here's the problem: Filoni puts in cake and thinks it's back. You know, he's that guy.
That's the worst.
Collectively start.
He's like, hey guys, do you like
engines?
Hey, just like Sonic Youth, and he puts on 311. You're like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
by being trained by Anakin.
2 hours of this. Poor Carrie.
No. Yeah, but she's been like in the all of Filoni's things. I believe she's been his producer with Lucasfilm.
Okay. Ahsoka was part of that legacy as well.
Ahsoka is a character that Dave Filoni created and worked with George Lucas on in the Clone Wars.
Originally,
this is Ahsoka.
I like him in the UK the Ollie G outfit. Go back. No, you gotta go back to Filoni and the Ollie G.
Booyakasha! This is for me main man, George Lucas.
When Bespin goes out incognito, please wear this. Wear the sweats. With the blue and the main man George Lucas, right? I love that. Yeah.
I gotta say, I prefer Beanie Filoni over Fedora Filoni because Fedora Filoni is definitely. I mean, when he wears just like normal hat Filoni, I'm like, okay, that's just like a dude. But when he puts the hat on, when he puts like the modern Indiana Jones hat on, that's when you're just like, what the fuck is happening right now? Why is it
I like
happening
this
right
one?
now?
This is the Filoni that listens to the streets. Only the first 3 albums. The other albums are bullshit.
Oh no. This Filoni has 1997's Republic a hit, "Baby I'm Ready to Go" playing in his earphones at all time. And he's like, "Fuck yeah, we're doing this." Baby, I'm ready to go. Yeah.
The birds are all about.
Yeah, he's all right. Well, Filoni, we're gonna clown on you when you look like a clown, but we're gonna big you up when you're looking good because you are.
You know what? I need to do a version of him where he's Ollie D. Right? I think we got a new one coming. The 2 Filonis.
Yeah, you need to combine Buyakasha with Ahsoka somehow. That word could happen. I think it could happen. Yes. I don't know. I'm not gonna try.
Lucas on
Yeah.
Is that a wolf? Are those 2 wolves on his shirt?
Like, yeah,
it
is,
2
dude.
wolf heads.
That is 2 wolves, man.
Making a wolf, or it's 1 wolf.
Yeah,
that's
that's
wolf.
The wolf,
but I
dude.
see the 2 wolves. I see 2 wolves with goofy teeth making 1 wolf. Right? That's how I work.
I see
T-shirts, man. When it comes to T-shirts, Jason, you got to really read the negative space.
I mean, if we're gonna go ink blot, I see 2 geese trying to eat their own assholes. So that's what I see when I look at it.
I also see Mando helmets with giant Batman ears, right? Like, bunny ears or something that form a wolf head.
Yeah.
Okay.
The Clone Wars.
Originally, we didn't know exactly what the Clone Wars was going to be, and there was a Jedi and there was a Padawan, and thought we'll put them on adventures. But George had other ideas.
I just got it. The Master and the Apprentice. Right?
Yeah,
I get it now. I get.
They are leaning into the discourse that Dave Filoni is George Lucas's protege. Like at Celebration, they wouldn't stop.
What's that, Rob? You hear that? You are the new George Lucas. Oh no. Yeah, no pressure.
Yeah, no pressure. Yeah.
Tales of Radioland Murders series coming to Disney Plus.
Yeah. Tucker, a man in his nightmare. He has bad dreams too. Dark one's always darker. The second one's always darker. Oh, we're making a trilogy out of Tucker now, huh?
says, well, let's give Anakin Skywalker a Padawan. And I was like, Anakin doesn't have Padawan. And he just looked at me and said, Anakin has a Padawan.
Oh shit! You got put on. You were about to get fired, fool. That was look. That's the guy who almost got fired. You know.
I wish. You know, Jason. I keep thinking if I had the ability to revisit periods in life, I'd like to see my father again. Maybe go to the mall, Fuddruckers. Now I want to see George Lucas just stare at him. And now he has a Padawan. Yeah.
Oh, but
shut up.
Anakin doesn't have a Padawan, George. Anakin doesn't have a Padawan.
And then, well, now he has a Padawan. And then I smacked him. Yeah, he cut that one out. Yeah.
Lucas has like a fucking Smithers button where the hounds are released. You know, if he
he's got good delay, good timing on that joke.
I just like his face.
George is so unintentionally funny. Like Filoni's doing the moment, right?
Yeah,
and it was hilarious. That's what I love about it.
Every now and then, I never really realized this, but Dave Filoni kind of reminds me of one of the Angry Bird characters. He kind of looks like the Angry Bird guy. A little bit. You know what I mean? You kind of see the Angry Bird? It's like a little bit like an Angry Bird. just saying.
You have no idea. When I was working on them Star Wars shirts, that's when Angry Birds was at the height of the release, you know, its popularity. And the merch, Jason, like salespeople would just come in and just jizz all over the fucking walls about how great Angry Birds are doing. And that company I was at, Angry Birds had come to them at first, and they kicked out the license. They're like, no, we're too good for Angry Birds. We got we got Star Wars and Lego, and oh boy, did
yeah. Well, if you follow the rest of this interview, he said, and if George was still here, I go Angry Bird on his ass. But he knows that George isn't there and he can say it. Now
I want someone to animate the scene where they're talking, where he's an Angry Bird and George is the pig, right? And they just like go back and forth.
Pig Lucas, yeah.
Yeah.
And that was basically it. That's how Ahsoka came about. We cast Ashley Eckstein to be the voice of the character. And she's fantastic in the Clone Wars and Rebels.
For a character that has such depth and complexity, to bring that to live action made a tremendous amount of sense.
And I gotta be, I'm gonna be honest. I've watched the episodes again a few times, and I'm looking forward to the Ahsoka series because once again, it's always a chance for opportunity for improvement. It's room for improvement with every one of these series, whether it's Boba Fett, might not be, but it could be. And so when you're like, if you're not sure about a character, the series is the thing that could make or break it. It could actually like put it over the line, make it great for you, or make it not matter officially forever for you. But in the live action shows, she's super dry the whole time. There's absolutely like no personality that's been able to like come through. There's like a couple of moments in these TV spots where we see her smiling at other characters and stuff like that. And I'm like, okay, I think it might be there. And I hope it is. But if you only take what they've done in Mando, it's a little dry with her character. I don't know if I don't think she would have been a breakout. Mm-hmm.
If you were somehow able to take that character as she's playing it and put it next to Return of the Jedi's Harrison Ford's Han Solo, you know what I mean? Like, who's stealing? I mean, like, you know, like it's just two different. I don't know. It's very stoic. What I can't speak to the quality of the show, but I can tell you, I will endlessly look forward to Filoni and Jon Favreau talking about the show.
Yeah,
they just play clips about it and talk about it. Like,
yeah.
It's
like people are like, "Why didn't you make it Correllia?" And I was like, "Cause it's stinky." Oh, okay. That's why you didn't do it. Yeah, it's stinky. Okay, that's fair.
Rosario Dawson is such an incredibly powerful actress, and she loves this character.
I'm playing someone who is an absolute expert. I really wanted to be able to physicalize that as much as possible.
There need to be a lot of lights.
Did she say expert?
Expert?
I thought she said expert. It is expert.
No, you're thinking of Angry Birds. You got Angry Birds on the brain.
There need to be a lot of lights.
I was thinking about expert.
And they have to.
Oh. Man, look at Balin's face right there. He's like,
I know.
I got the oxygen in them cheeks. Like a little chipmunk storing it up.
To be good, because our fans know the difference.
breathe during the fight.
Okay, listen to Filoni right here. This is the moment.
Because our fans know the difference.
Everyone, shh. Shut up, chat. Shh. Just trying to talk.
Right,
able to physicalize that as much as possible.
There need to be a lot of lightsaber fights, and they have to be good because our fans know the difference.
No matter how tired I was
like what else could it be referring to? You know what I mean? Like if we know the difference, then there was a time that we pointed it out to him that we knew the difference, and that's why I think it's sort of reactionary to
look. Let's just be honest, all right? Like I'm a guy who keeps this shit pretty real. This looks like a Star Wars TV show. Kenobi don't look like that. Looks like the ABC TV. You know what we all feared Star Wars would look like, right back in the day when it went to TV.
Yeah,
this looks pretty good.
It looks, yeah. Kenobi looks like what Lucasfilm would have done under George Lucas. It really does. That's what this all would look like. For all of
what people think, but yeah,
for all of all of the George Lucas is my daddy and loves me and takes care of me and makes everything right. George Lucas was going to shoot that shit on DSLRs. He was going to take it back to the Attack of the Clones level, but at TV. That's what he was going to do. I mean, it's just what it is, and that's what that show is.
I remember saying, and maybe go back, guys. You dig it up. I'm not digging it up, but I know for a fact when we first saw the TV spot where on Kenobi when they were walking on the cyber
Sunshine?
whatever that techno planet, the techno planet where it's always playing techno and Larry,
Flea's planet, the planet where Flea lives.
Yeah. The one with the dinosaur planet.
I think it's called Dinotopia. I believe it's called Dinotopia.
I said this looks like the Star Wars Underworld test footage. You know what I mean? Like it kind of reminded me of that, like almost shot for shot. Like to be honest with you, like the Star Wars Underworld footage didn't look like the Coruscant from Revenge of the Sith or even Attack of the Clones. Like it looked a step below that. So, but no, this looks like this is a good shot, by the way.
And to be fair, it was obviously not approved. They were like, well, that doesn't work at the price point. However it went, they didn't do it. So, all right. So back to this.
Sign me up for some more.
When you step into Star Wars, you are part of a legacy, and we had to
hold on. She can't talk about sign me up for more. They're on strike. What is she doing? She pulling a Stephen Amell?
Nah,
she pulling a Stephen Amell?
Nah, she filmed it already.
She's gonna show back up on strike today, act like nothing happened.
This obviously doesn't
doesn't
fool me that it's real, but this looks like something that would have been in Star Wars no matter what year it was made, whether it was the original.
Yeah, I mean, it looks like original Macquarie Alderaan art and shit, but it does. I love it. I really like this.
Yeah, Rebels is the show that literally milked Macquarie for all he was worth across the board. Like every single thing was a Macquarie. Like it was like the guiding like look of every single thing was that. And at the end, this city is garbage after Imperial rule. Then we cut to this part right here, and now it has been built up, and it's back to a vibrant, like thriving city. And that's also something to take into account when you think of the other place being Correllia, because it doesn't match. It's pretty close. It doesn't match 1-to-1, but that's what gives them that room, that wiggle room is like this very moment. And this moment comes first, I believe.
Hold that history and yet do this completely new and different thing. From the beginning of this series, Ahsoka is out there on the fringe of the galaxy when she hears.
So a couple. It says when she hears whispers of this warlord's return, and then right here we see this is Shin's ship when she's landing on that thing, and like I said, I think they're breaking out the magistrate in this scene. I'm guessing this is like my guess right now. My bet is this is literally like practically the opening of the show.
Whispers of
now every time
warlords
every time they spew steam out, I hear that song. What the fuck is happening here? Go look that one up, folks. Go have a good time.
Turn. She decides.
So when you look at this right here, you have like I said, there's a lot of Corellia like architecture in the periphery, like on the right hand side of the frame, and that's what makes me think that there is a good chance this particular.
Watery, but maybe
no.
I can see that bottom base. That bottom base right there, that looks like it would sink up very well.
All of those AT-AT crane things are in water in Solo. If you watch it again, like or next time you see those shots, like that's why I had that earlier. I had it up where it shows like the water. Yeah.
So
No,
dark.
and you can see how dark it is in that shot I had in the presentation earlier. So, anyways, but there, this right here, you can see that this thing has like a top on it that might open up. That thing might split open to let a Star Destroyer fly at the top if they built one in it, for instance, in this little yard. So this yard on the inside can be on Correllia, can look different because it's this one company / corporation, whatever, who's running it. And so I think it's inconclusive, but I don't think it's the craziest idea.
I can confirm,
Yeah.
Jason. I was speaking this morning to Kathy, and this shot cost more than Kenobi. Yeah.
Oh, well, that's fair. So she decides to enlist her friend's help.
Oh yeah,
And
help
that's
friends.
Sabine. But listen to some of the wording that Filoni uses, and like he says, her friends help, not he's getting her Padawan. Like when we look at friends is when we look at the words that he uses, like it does sort of in my opinion makes it lean towards Sabine is not her Padawan. And so what listen to what he says.
To enlist her friends help.
This is
so right here you can see what Santa was talking about in this shot. The ring is complete on the top, and there's
Told
more
you.
stuff beyond it. You didn't even look at it. You just thought that, and then are like,
I just knew. I looked at it and knew that's a crop shot because I have expertise.
Oh yeah. Pixel
backed up with years of complaining about Star Wars.
about preventing
That's it.
Right.
another war.
Another
Hey,
war.
when she cuts a hole in the ground and falls down, should they have cut to a song from The Perfect Circle?
Yes.
Like, do you think? I think that would have been clever. Don't you think so?
Yeah, I'd buy it.
JJ would do it.
She's as orange as Trump in this shot. Look at her. All right, here we go.
You know who could help?
Sabine Wren.
I'm not.
So he's like, you're not gonna help you, Sabine Wren. So is that fancy?
Not sure she'll.
And then I'm not sure she'll want to help. So right there, like I said, I don't think this is lining up with her being a Padawan. I'd say almost for sure at this point, based off of the stuff that they are laying out here. And when she says master, she's likely being facetious because she's doing the sword training with her. So
I'm less enamored with the hair blowing in the wind shot. Or it's just because we're holding on it.
No, you've wanted I've heard you wax intellectual for hours about hair blowing in the wind not being in shots. Now they did it, and you're like,
oh, you got me on that one. I'm
not sure she'll want to help.
I'm telling the story.
So this right here,
you're right. They did add wind to the set. You got me on.
They
that
did.
one.
They did. It was. They had a fan to turn it on. Right here, you can see it on the left. But yeah, there's this like weird like corkscrew table thing
about this men.
Yeah, it's weird.
It's the ring table.
It's like, so this is where I have my weed.
The story about this mentor-student relationship.
Yeah. So mentor-student relationship that passes from Anakin to Ahsoka to Sabine. So see, kind of weird. I mean, but in the context.
So that means she's her student. Confirmed.
Mentor, student. Well, student, but mentor, student and Padawan.
Mentor to student.
So when it's a student, maybe of just the sword fighting techniques, you know.
Relationship that passes from Anakin to Ahsoka to Sabine.
There is nothing easy about being a Jedi.
It's quite extraordinary at bringing this to life.
When the stakes are this high, you have to do what's right.
So there we have it. That was it.
That's a profound
what they did.
line. When the stakes are this high, we gotta do what's right.
This high, I get higher. But yeah, so
yeah, well, I think it's pretty. I don't know, man. To end it on Anakin, Ahsoka, Sabine, and then show them all, and Sabine with a lightsaber says pretty much what it says to me. I don't think that's. People may not like it. I have no vested interest because I didn't watch the cartoon. So
wait, so you think she is a Padawan, or you think she's not?
She's the student, yeah. Master to student, Anakin to Ahsoka, and then if you look at Ahsoka's being the master, then Sabine the student. Like, it just, that's the cycle. Like,
Yeah.
he says it, they sell it, they show it, they end on it. That's how I think.
Yeah.
And then
I
Sabine to Ezra, or I don't know. Yeah.
no. So in actuality, like in Dave Filoni's story, like 10 years before this, Freddie Prinze Jr.'s character, Kanan Jarrus, while Ezra is his apprentice, trains Sabine in the sword technique, because she has the dark saber. That way she can wield it and she could be proficient in it and do what she has to do for like Mandalore. She goes through, she does the training, she does all that stuff, and at the end, she doesn't want that thing. She doesn't want that power. She just gives it to Katie Sackhoff's character. And then that's why no one thinks. Well, that's why no one takes Katie Sackhoff's character serious, because she didn't fight Sabine for it. So there's people in that thing who think Sabine is the actual like person who should have it, and she doesn't want it. So that's just that. That just ends up being that until we know what happens to the sword after that and stuff. But back then, they were never like, we need to train you in the Force. She never had anything where she was like levitating a rock or on accident or any of that kind of stuff. So they didn't ever do any of that, but she was also proficient enough to be able to use the lightsaber and to like learn. So, this might just be, they might just reference that moment from Rebels and say like, we need to continue your training with the lightsaber.
So you're saying it's a fake out that the student.
I think it might be.
It's a big fake out.
I think it is. I think it's a fake out, and then we end up getting like basically to Ezra having pretty much become a Jedi when he did what he did at the end of Rebels, and he saves the fleet and sacrifices himself and does a good job.
I don't think that'll all go over the heads of the normies, Jason.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not saying they'll care one way or the other, just right over their heads.
Well, that might be like a way getting at the sword fighting thing and to training her stuff. We've seen her train in the stuff like that. They're doing it, and remember, this is like 10 years later. Sabine should be a Jedi by now. She's like a big, huge loser at the Force otherwise. If she became Ahsoka's apprentice at any point, but we know that she hasn't been Ahsoka's apprentice. We know that Ahsoka, from this TV spot, it's inferring anyways, that they go and they pick up Sabine, and I don't know if she don't want to come. And then they're like, well, yeah, go try. And then she does. So I don't think she like shows up and is like, hey, I have an idea. Want to be my Padawan? She's like, well, that'd be super tight. And then they just do it. Like, that would be weird, right? So my guess is, like I said, they talk about what's going on. Sabine has had the stuff with Ezra lost out there eating at her lately. And then she's like, this is now it's time to go and do what they want to do. So yeah, that's what I think anyways. So he asks, is Anakin and Ahsoka's flashback going to take place during Coruscant? I would have to think so, based off of the fact that that's where they lived. That's when Ahsoka was Anakin's apprentice. It's where they lived. And it almost implies that the shot is in that same room from Kenobi, and where we see the flashback of young Anakin, who's a 40-year-old.
Will it be 40-year-old?
Yes.
Yeah, would it be 40-year-old, 18-year-old Anakin, or do you think they'll try to de-age him?
I think it's going to probably look just like it does in the other thing, personally. Yeah. I mean, it would be great if they just went and de-aged the whole fucking thing. But I mean, there is de-aging in that. That's the other thing. There is de-aging in that. They just went very subtle. I don't know, man. It's weird. I don't understand it, man. I don't know what on the Kenobi thing with that. I'm just like, okay, you guys say so. He still looks like he's a 40-year-old dude, and his voice, like in the trailers, you tell his voice sounds older too. Not as bad as like Harrison Ford as Indiana Jones when he's supposed to be like 36 years old, or 40-year-old Indiana Jones, or 44-year-old Indiana Jones. He sounds very old.
It's the one thing I'm like, no one can say this is good. No one can walk in here and go, that works. Like, come on.
And I've seen, what's funny about that is a prime example of 1 or 2 shots with the sound literally destroying the whole thing. Because in a lot of the other parts, it's completely fine. It's completely passable, but the few times that it's not, that's when you're like, ooh, boy, that doesn't work. And
well, man, that's something Macquarie talks about often. He's like,
Mhm.
you can lose an audience in 2 seconds and screw the whole thing up if if you're not,
yeah,
like you could say I didn't like the movie, but there is a way everything can be going right and you can jank the whole thing up
yeah.
inadvertently, and I mean that's one of the things I'm like, I rarely see an example of that, but he is right. I think they see it more often.
Well, I'm sure they see it.
Early cuts.
Yeah,
That's
as
what
they're
I'm saying,
making
like,
as they're making it, they're like, oh, we
Right.
just fucking broke this. And,
Correct. But as
yeah,
audiences, we rarely see something that, hey man, all right, what?
yeah. No, and who knows? I mean, they might have been like, oh, we want to do AI, and Harrison Ford might not have liked it or something, and there might have been a reason that it ended up that way. I don't know. But for as expensive as Indiana Jones was, the fact that like that moment's in there, that is one of the things that makes me mad about that film. I love the movie though.
There's so
but
many
it's
voice
not perfect.
actors though. And there's so many voice artists. Someone has to be able to do a flawless Harrison Ford, right?
Of course.
Somebody. Like
I
that's
mean,
what
they
you
could
don't
do
need
they
AI
could do it.
to
You
do
could do it
ADR,
with,
dude.
but you can do it with if you have Harrison Ford, you have the align, you sample the original voice, and then you put it through, it's gonna work. Like that's the one thing I know would actually work.
All right.
Yeah, and they just don't do it. I don't know why. It's really, really strange. I'm pretty sure that's why the Mark Hamill one comes out so well.
It took 100 visual effects artists to make this and one voice to fuck it all up, huh?
Yeah, it's true. But anyways, yeah, I do think it's one of those things where like if you're a big indie fan and you watch like a bunch, then it will become part of the soundtrack and it won't seem weird. It'll be like as you anticipate and expect it. But right now, like, that's a hard one for me. Yeah, but anyway, so I'm right now just where my head's at. I'm saying Sabine's not a Padawan. She is a student of a fighting style, like of lightsaber techniques because of what they're going up against. And then she has training in the previous show, so it's fine. It will work. Ahsoka can elevate her, And then I'm also of the opinion that's likely Correllia, but it's really inconclusive. Anybody who's like it's 100% until they say so, you can't convince me. I mean, it's just so coincidental.
I don't
Everything's
think
like, and then when you have like different DPs and stuff, like you know what I mean, and Solo's extra dark the whole time, and it has that fucking filter on it basically.
Well, there's a layer of filth that's implied on Corellia when they're there, hence the little slug lady and
different era though. You know what I mean, though.
Generally doesn't change though. Tatooine doesn't change that much, Like
no.
Coruscant doesn't change that
Tatooine
much.
doesn't, but the opening of the show, Lothal is different from the series. It has been built up. It's like instead of being a big black factory like Slickin' City, it's a white.
Well,
it's a white.
I don't like someone who
says
maybe it is, maybe it isn't. I'm telling you it ain't, and I'm willing to be wrong. So I go.
Yeah, no,
you got a whole song for that.
Well, it does have the whole checklist of the visual attributes that it would require to be there, except for something that wouldn't be of the era. So that's why I'm like, can't say for certain, but it doesn't really matter if it is or it isn't as far as I'm concerned. But those were like the big questions du jour, and I like that Filoni is at least in the marketing promising that the lightsabers fights will be worth it, that they will be good. So for Disney Plus, that's like
really as long as they're not standing in front of another, swirling their sabers in a figure eight. I can't deal with that,
dude. You know what, man? You don't understand Larry, and you're never gonna understand Larry. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Larry, I get. Revenge of the Sith. I don't.
Dude,
I'm not a fan of
dude,
that.
they're just like, what are you gonna do, bro? What are you gonna do? I mean,
it's like getting ready to jump in the jump rope.
It's like this one. It's like that, but for Jedis. But anyways, I'm getting more excited for the show. The last couple of things that have been a lot better than some of the earlier stuff we were getting from it. I think it's gonna probably right now. I think it's gonna at least be mid, and that's better than knowing it's gonna be shit. And but knowing with what we think we know where it's going and what we think what the story is and stuff like that, I think it's like pretty exciting. And the stuff that we're seeing here right now in our brains is feeling like it's the whole show, but it's not. There's like crazy shit that like I've seen from the show that's not even in any of the stuff. That's not like showing up. So it will. And so I think that the show is going to end up feeling a lot different than what this is in the big picture. Anyway, this is probably the first 2-3 episodes worth of stuff. And then we have,
I think the thing to keep in mind is every time they drop one of this is pretty much someone else's first time seeing anything about this.
Yeah.
Like most people don't follow all this. Is like, oh, what? There's a new Star Wars. What's going? Like, is Mando in it? That's the problem they kind of have right now. Is they just sort of synonymize Star Wars Disney Plus with Mando.
Yeah.
Right. What's this called? It's not called Mando. I don't know. Like you gotta be a little careful about that one.
Yeah. Yeah. And so right here before we go, one last time, the background shot is actually from Solo: A Star Wars Story, and the front shot is from the Ahsoka series. And that architecture on the riverbank looks the same. The water is the same, but obviously the dark, dingy filters are on it, and it's a different era of time. So once again, I don't know. You guys could let us know. I hear that YouTube is prioritizing comments a lot more than it used to. So if you're watching this,
talk shit about me.
Talk shit on Rob.
Just go right in that comment.
No, and
away.
Try and convince me one way or the other that it is or it isn't. On either is it Coronet / Correllia, or is Sabine her actual Padawan? I'm saying maybe to Correllia and probably not to the Padawan thing. That's where I'm at.
It's not Correllia, it's Danrelia.
Oh,
or because like Tatooine's got Dantooine. They just got all these Dan planets.
Yeah, well, if it were Zack Snyder, it'd be hard Correllia. It'd be hardcore as fuck.
Oh, that's even better.
Yeah, hard Correllia. That's
Someone
right.
say hard Correllia.
I did.
I'm gonna write that down. I can edit it right now. Add that in the movie.
It's in the movie. All right.
It's in the movie.
And do what NPC Epic Battle says and hit the like button. All 96 of you, 92 of you now. Please like it. I would appreciate that. And remember, you guys can get the show on Spotify. If you want the audio version, you can also watch the video there too. And we'll be back tomorrow talking about whatever the news du jour is, and breaking down.
Third time you said du jour.
I can't stop. I love it. I feel fancy when I say it. I feel like I'm going to eat a good soup, a good stew. And anyways,
it was like a 90s knockoff band of Delight. Right?
We're du jour. That was Dave's du jour.
Du jour. Yeah, that's when he goes to karaoke night. He becomes du jour.
Yeah. Groove is in the heart. All right. Yeah. So let us know in the comments and all that kind of.
Yeah.
Pretty good, Dave. Pretty good. Dave, keep your
That's
hat
one
on.
of his high notes. He goes
keep your
for
hat
it,
on.
Dave. He goes for it.
Yeah. So this is just our Monday. I'm gonna guess that what's the date today? Today is the 14th. We got less. We got less than 10 days
2020?
until it.
What year
We
is
have
it?
9 days until Ahsoka hits. So yeah. So in like 2 days, we're on the week up to it, and so all of the shit should be dropping. There should be stuff to talk about. I would imagine there will be EW articles and stuff like that hitting, and maybe
I say
more.
this every time.
Maybe not.
Every time we got a new show coming out, we're through the looking glass here, people. Right?
I'm through the looking glass. Here we go.
Yeah,
the glass elevator breaking through the top.
My
All right.
favorite useless line in every movie. It's every movie. We're through the looking glass here, people.
Through it. We're through it. We're through it.
Yeah.
All right. Rob, anything else to say before we go? No.
One
That's
time
it.
I don't talk.
That's it. This fucking guy.
The end of the show. Come
on, let's go.
Hey! It's the end of the show.
Come on, let's go.
Hey! It's the end of the show.
Come on, let's go. Hey!
You know you should go.
Come on, let's go.
It's not about spaceships.